Assalamu alaikum. There is a country, there is a country we share its border with China, but not a single death in that country. I will tell you which country is that. This is the Vietnam. As of 26 July 2020, as today, the country had only 420 confirmed cases of 365 recoveries and no deaths. More than 4 lakh tests have been performed. Hanoi, as of July, is the most affected city of 121 confirmed cases, despite having a population of more than 95 million or a 9 crore 50 lakh population. The country took the strong and early action to stem the spread of the virus, and many locals have now deemed the effects to highly successfully. Some recent reports, which is still far proven, indicate that Vietnam may not have been immunically naive because of the something resemblance to SARS-CoV-2 might have been circulating for years. But the theory is still yet to be proven. Vietnam now resembles the normalcy, with its bar and restaurants are open. In April, it donated the hazmat suits, masks to the harder-hit countries in Europe and United States of America, where millions of people have been diagnosed with the COVID-19 virus. They are the steps which take Vietnam to tackle the COVID-19. Aggressive contact tracing. The first case in Vietnam was reported in late January and involved a man and his son returning to the country from Wuhan, China. A week later, the country sprung into the action with the whole government strategy, which many believe it has been prepared for since the SARS pandemic in 2003. People who tested positive for the virus and their close contacts were placed into quarantine camps for 14 days. The contact tracing, as outlined by researcher of the Oxford University Clinical Research Unit in Vietnam, incorporated 3 degrees of separation. People who came into close contact with the people who came into the close contact with someone known to be infected with the virus were told to isolate at the home. This is the picture which Hong Kong themed restaurant, a popular spot amongst the local young people, is closed with the concern of the spread of the coronavirus in the Vietnam. Then the testing capacity of the Vietnam. At the outset of the pandemic, Vietnam urged local medical equipment companies to help the Vietnam country to ramp up a testing program. By April, the country had already performed hundreds of thousands of tests at that time. For every confirmed case, the government was testing almost 800 people, more than 800 people, by far the highest in the world. The next highest, according to the data compiled by the regulator, is Taiwan, which tests 140 people for every case. According to the research report, Vietnam went from the just have testing site nationwide in late January. By 2020, by May, we would see hundreds of tests for every positive infection, says the Binh Tran, a general partner of 500 startup Vietnam. They did test neighbor store owner, really anyone who had been in contact with. And the next possibility which tackled the Vietnam on the coronavirus is early school closure and travel restrictions. The Vietnam understood that the hospital capacity was limited and the hospital would be quickly overwhelmed if they did not go ahead of their problems. So school closed from the Lunar New Year holidays at the end of the January and stayed closed until the mid-May. From the outset, there were restrictions on travel. Flights to go and from the China was suspending in February. The government closed down the country for 2 weeks, and April 1 in some region lockdown was extended for the longer period. The main is the public messaging to the Vietnam people. Vietnam constantly reminds its citizens to wear masks, wash their hand for 20 seconds, and socially distance for each other. The Ministry of Health even produced a PSA where it worked two singers to produce a catchy song about the steps people can take to avoid getting the virus. The next, how much coronavirus affect on economy of the Vietnam, because Vietnam is not such a wealthy country. A report released by the International Labour Organization last month said that at least 10 million Vietnamese could lose their job or face reduce in their income in the second quarter of 2020. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) predicts a growth of rate of 2.7% of the Vietnam in 2020, a drop from the 7% last year. A very drastic drop of the Vietnam economy. Up to 10.3 million workers could be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, losing job or seeing their income decline in the second quarter. The livelihood of 4.6 to 10.3 million workers in many sectors include retail, tourism, transport, manufacture, accommodation, and the food services will be affected by the pandemic, according to the reports of the IOL, International Labour Organization. These workers will see a decline in the working hours and wage or lose their job, with the wholesale and retail sector facing a demand and slump due to the social distances, and tourism, transport and storage also affected by the travel bans. The adverse impact as the difficulty to avoid to say many business of all sizes and sector have been closed during the social distancing campaign period, while the factories are reduced working hours of staff or letting workers go. But there's a country who shares border with China, but not a single death. This is the very appreciable decision by the Vietnam's Communist Party. I hope you understand. Thank you.